Okay, so we back in it. We back in it. Good day, my people. Hello, hello, hello. All right, I see y'all talking indices. I'm about to give my take on what I see in the market and why I'm not necessarily actually such in a rush as some of you might be. But okay. Oh, here we go. What's up, cousin? Oh, Hector. Actual cousin. What's up, dude? What's up? What's up? All right, let's dive in. So, dog. Let's talk about dog for like a minute. Just a dog appreciation. Shout out to the dog that's chilling right here too. On fire. Yo, absolutely on fire. If you've been stacking this meme coin with your boy, ooh, we are cooking right now. Theoretically, we talked about buys in this area. I was dollar cost averaging in. But while I was in Bali, I remember talking about we had like a CPI, and I was like, guys, this is like it's not gonna really get better than this. So right now, I mean, you're at possible 4x from these lows. Epic dollar cost averaging. I was buying in since 2024. So collecting throughout just all of this. But considering we spent so much time over here, yeah, good stuff. So right now, I'll get into crypto. I mean, Bitcoin's just on an absolute rampage. Amazing. And right now, I know some of you might be shorting indices, right? And I am not in love with sells yet. And I'll tell you why. Now, I'm going to move a little quickly here, and then we'll kind of recap yesterday, because yesterday was absolute perfection. Perfection. We had Dow sell-offs. We had a couple. So we had the first one here. We had the second one here. So it caught this move down, and then I took a sell right here after it cleared the liquidity. This made up for the last like 10 days of my trading, and that's why trading is amazing. But anyways, yes, we have been in a downtrend. Absolutely. The market is currently in motion. It dropped back down to not quite the imbalance, full imbalance here with Dow. Same thing with NASDAQ. But with NAS, we definitely rebalanced a bit. And so I want to talk about what it is that we're seeing at the moment in the current price action. And I think that there are sells that I know some people are going to take right now, and that doesn't include me. I'm not looking for sells at the moment. And the reason I'm not looking for sells is because the way in which we work our way down and up, this type of movement to me looks more like, let me make sure, I wanted to make sure you guys can see my screen. Didn't want to do one of those. But this type of movement to me is, this is just not it, because our drop down when we clear below, 41,850, and we work our way all the way down to 41,700, it's a quick drop and right back up. So to me, this looks like this liquidates buyers, lures in sellers. And then as soon as that's done, we're back up here. So the demand. And, to give you practical examples, I'm saying that at the end of the day, if imagine this is a tangible product. I don't know why I always use this example, but the mangoes didn't want to. There was nobody that was willing to keep selling at this price. There was too much demand, and so they have settled up here. They go, oh, no, we're not selling them for $1. Now these are going for two. Like, There's not. We can sell them for $2. People are buying them for $2 instead of buying them for $1.50. So this price was kind of, in other words, it could be a fake price. There's, let's say in this example, massive positions are opened. So they started to be sold at this level, but there was more demand so that price can come back up and they could offer them for more, and they're going to keep being bought for more. So for me, this looks more like that psychological sell-off to liquidate buyers, lure in sellers, and then move to the upside. And then as we look at NASDAQ, it's relatively similar. NASDAQ, this was, you knew something like this was going to happen with end of New York session, Asian session, just building up liquidity over here. Just look at this, like absolute liquidity just being set up right here. This for me is definitely not, this is all money. Money. Retail money here. So yes, the market comes back up, and I absolutely see the pump and the drop, 100%. I see it with NAS. It's over here with Dow. So I totally see it. However, at the moment, especially considering price action, I think we might have a scenario today where this, especially now that the market's kind of chilling right here, we may end up seeing the market come back up just to rip. So this has been a common setup all month where it's inducing, whether it's sellers or buyers, in this case, inducing sellers, luring them in. Sell stops are activated. Buy stops, stop losses, protective stops are liquidated. And then we see the movement. So right now, because we have so little demand over here, I can see us getting just clear reversals around this zone. So I definitely see this last little sell-off here as a pretty quality buy zone. If, especially if we're noticing NASDAQ kind of maintain this level a bit more. So we have New York open in 8 minutes. Also, a question for you guys. What is the lag situation today? I'm tweaking little things here and there to make it better every day without it crashing on me. Yo, what's up, Joe Ryan? What's up, Friso? Pablo? Puccini, hello. Harshi, Oscar Vega. ¿Qué tal? Buen día, tío, todos. Chico, San, Seth, Karen. What countries we coming from today? Where we at in the world? What's goody? Gabriel, hello. Rain. Oh, I don't think I've seen you here before. London. Some new names in here. What's up? Corey, what's up, James? Michael, indices are in the sell zone. So yeah, for that reason, like Shark Tank. And for that reason, I'm out. Omar, out here, you're dancing. Kaz, Justina, Dan B, the man from Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's go. What's up, Vaughn? Chicago in the house. Daniel Rivera. What's up, New York City? Armando, ¿qué tal, chicos? Pierre. Rise and shine. Daza. Linda. Vaughn. I'm looking to buy NAS at my 786 zone at 21.019.49. So you are looking at CFDs? Stream is good, no lag. Only 10 seconds, 3/4 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds. Maybe 5 seconds. Okay, we're getting it down. Don't worry. But, Michael, look, your prices are different than mine. Yes, exactly. They will be. These are based off of futures prices. Yours are based off of a CFD broker. So those prices are extracted from futures data, and then they just set them to whatever they feel like, because that's how these brokers function. South Carolina, but it's in that box. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you're looking at CFDs, those numbers are going to be different, but the setup's going to be the same. Chicos, aquí, ¿dónde está mi gente de Latinoamérica? Lo que estoy haciendo ahorita es, la manera que cae y sube el mercado no me confirma no me confirma una compra, digo, una venta. Esto a mí me hace sentir que no tenemos suficiente demanda aquí, que cuando cae y sube el mercado es solo para capturar liquidez, no es para tener ventas. Entonces por eso no me gusta la idea. And as you guys can see, I'm leaning more towards NAS for buys because it's just been trading more bullish, and as it's been dropping, it's been less aggressive as well. Do you think there is some equal lows on the 5 minute on the bottom of NQ mitigation zone? Yes. So I do see a potential issue with this right here. I 100% see this right there. So this right here, guys, if we go to the 1 minute, this gives us liquidity. So equal lows, equal lows, equal lows. So what can we do? Because we don't get a higher high yet. And thank you, because I was about to get to this. Because we don't get a higher high yet, a setup like this is a little bit... this is not the textbook mitigation, right? Like, for example, if we were to get the highest probability setup in my arsenal is always, or at least for now, has been we get the higher high, we confirm demand, and then the market gets into here, and we could take this, right? The liquidity that built up over the course of, I think it was maybe 20 minutes at the lows, that is worth noting. Because if the market doesn't, for example, let's say NAS decides to drop faster on the open, it's just more aggressive on the way down. Oh man, the laptop is not hanging on here too great. There's the blue box and order block. This is just kind of the last sell-off. You can consider it that. I'm gonna do this for a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna go camera off for a little here. All right. Okay. So from here, this is worth noting. Now, if a setup like this, if NASDAQ, and I'm going to go 2 screens here in a second so that you guys can see what I see. Here we go. Now, if you look at how Dow and NAS move together, or not, here we go, and here we go. Price action can flip. So what we could see set up here, we could see the market start to move in a way where, let's say, NASDAQ starts to drop pretty fast here on the open, which is totally possible. If that's the case, so let's go ahead and kind of even this out a little bit. I wonder why these numbers look so massive. Kind of weird. All right. Not sure what's going on there. Anyways, with what the heck is happening here? All right, whatever. Let's say NASDAQ keeps working its way down. We might just see NAS instead push down, get below these lows, clear this liquidity, and then that sets up the reversal with Dow. So right now, and it kind of looks like that might be the case. We might see Dow start to really push lower, and I had a lower interest zone here. I don't know if it's going to get this low, but I had a zone down over here on this extreme. So as we're looking at, now this is going back to price action from May 13th. So May 13th, and I'll show you here real quick. Look at May 13th price action. May 13th, we see a sell-off. This was New York Open. So we see the market dip before it rips, and it just never came back. And here's the 1 minute so you can see it very clearly. here we have it. New York Open sells off and off to the races. So that is this lower zone that I have marked up with NASDAQ right now, which is right over here. Okay. So that zone is this zone down here. Okay. So that's an opportunity at some point in time. 100%. Considering we have more imbalanced on there, I definitely think we can get here. So I'm going to stay mindful. We already played out of this order block. So this already rejected. Right? We had this sweep of the highs. It played out of here. We had NASDAQ come all the way back up to here. Play out of the zone as well. We're now going to see New York Open. So right now the volatility is going to kick in. And if the market, right, if we see NAS start to drop first and more aggressively, then I might be more inclined for a Dow Jones buy. If this is going to be the case, however, I definitely want to see that shift in momentum. That would be ideal. That would be absolutely ideal. One thing that you can also add, now I haven't really taught this too much on just in general, and I don't really use it that often, but when it comes down to like the shakeout model here, the volume definitely makes a difference. So for example, seeing that we have, right, the lows down here, as we see the market pick up momentum, if we're seeing, higher lows and more volume, usually a good sign for a buy setup. But we want to make sure that we're trading alongside the correct indice. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck trading something that doesn't really make sense. You might end up taking the setup that's way more bullish or way more bearish. So for now, we want to see and let the market create its and prove to us the quality of the setup, prove to us the direction of the market. So right now, there's a couple things that we've done. We've disqualified some setups. So I've disqualified selling because for me, there's really little demand. So this lower low that people I would consider, to me, it's not really real. This to me is not a lower low. Esto para mí no es un bajo más bajo. So yeah, and that's just how I approach it. That's what keeps me out of setups that I see fail, that normally people would take. So that's my approach with how we're seeing things at the moment. Does it mean that I'm right? Not necessarily. It just is. Right now what we're seeing is we're seeing lower highs on NASDAQ while Dow is actually making pushed above here. So you see that difference in the setup. It kind of seems like NASDAQ wants to keep dropping relative to Dow. So kind of a bearish price action right now with NAS, the way it's moving up. So I'm curious if we end up seeing a sell for NAS here. Just like that. Looks like it's selling off. Interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of what I thought we were gonna see right now. Once we saw the open and we started to get kind of like a lower high, and this made higher highs. Look at that. Just like that, we're seeing it push. So see how NASDAQ is pushing much more aggressively to the downside? So this shifted price totally. As soon as it started to do something like this is when I started to understand, like, oh, okay. We just saw a shift in momentum. Dow saw higher highs. NASDAQ saw lower highs. And then look at the in this kind of zone that you guys were talking about. So for that reason, I had that inclination that it was going to drop. as I just shared with you all. So really interesting when you can see in time, real time, like within seconds, price action starting to kind of flip and show us a difference in price. And excuse me, sorry guys. I know that's not what you wanted to hear right now. So depending on how this goes, we may have 1 minute setups for shorts on NASDAQ here in a little bit. And if NASDAQ keeps running down, and let's say it clears out these lows, but we have Dow trading in here, and we have Dow still in this area, I might take a Dow buy in this imbalance. So let me set an alert here. Curious to see how this evolves. Right now we're seeing NASDAQ tap the open of this sell-off, instantly just ripping. So it's kicking off even stronger now. Interesting, very interesting. These first 5 minutes have been very, very strong. So look at how this, absolutely clears some of this, just a little bit. It's 15 minutes of price, but now it's on a rampage. So would I get in front of this? No, I would not get in front of this. I don't necessarily think we're ready to see sells again, because why? This drop, does this show us lower lows? Oh yeah, we're bearish. Look at how fast we came back up. I'm not so sure about that. So, yeah, when the market gives this absolute obnoxious move back up and down, to me, this doesn't confirm that we have demand over here. So I stay away from these types of moments, because remember, you have so many types of opportunities, whether you're looking at the 5 minute, whether you're looking at the 1 minute, whether you're looking at the 15, the hour, the 4 hour, whatever it is that you're doing. What you don't want to do is just swing at everything because you're money hungry. Swing at everything because you can't control your desires. You can't control your impulses. You can't control your expectations. So, no, I'm not, flocking to just take anything and everything here right now. The way that we dropped and came back, it just wasn't, it doesn't prove to me enough yet. Now we instantly move back down. So this is showing us that, well, yeah, as soon as we came back up, could we consider this a mitigation? Sure. But for me, it's not just, oh, it came back to the big candle. It's what's the proof in structure? So zooming out a little bit, just getting a fresh take. Dow at the moment is doing a much better job of sustaining these levels, right? It's doing a much better job of showing us that down over here, not a lot of demand for US 30. Dow Jones, YM, there's just not a lot going on over here. Cool. What we are seeing is that if the market were to come back down, because this to me looks like a typical retail break and retest. So sellers are being lured in. I think we're going to end up seeing something like this. This is more of what I think we're going to see here. I could see us getting more of a short on NASDAQ than anything else. Not to sell it, but I think it can keep going bearish for sure. I think it can keep pushing down, and maybe that's what works this down to the imbalance, or that's what works us down to liquidity here. So that's how I'm seeing this right now. Yeah, it looks to me like we're going to probably keep working our way back down. What do you guys think? How do you approach this? Do you and do anything here? Maybe you do nothing. You're like, no, I'm good. have no desires to be doing anything here with these markets at the moment. Maybe you're gonna like just wait this out, see if there's anything better for you to do. And also, we just had that Australian news alert, so my bad. I meant to go check that out. So let's take a look at odd USD. I had an alert there for a reason. I don't remember if it was, I don't know if this was going to be the buy or the sell setup that we were looking at. Okay, so we did see Australian just drop here. Came into this level. Okay, so could we see a buy from this zone? Maybe. Let's take a look at NZD. NZD already trading at this low. So definitely a better shot of a buy with Australian. Not bad. When we take a look at Euro has a long way to go to get to here, though. So Euro definitely looks like a much better buying opportunity. I think that I definitely prefer seeing Euro USD buys than the rest of them. So yeah, all right, cool. So here it is. Let me compare these to you guys. We went over this yesterday, so I know you guys are probably have this a little bit fresh in your mind. But here was the setup, and if we use just a fib tool just to understand the level of retracement that we're seeing at the moment, GU is currently sitting near the 38.2 pullback. So from the sell-off to up here, still sitting at right around that 38.2. Okay. From there, you have Euro USD. Euro USD, here was that sweep down. We have the move to the upside. Euro USD, a bit more bearish, sitting closer to the 50% from the 38.2 and the 50%. So, all right. Not too bad. All right, not too bad. Now, from here, what else do we have going on? All right, so from here, we got, let's see here. Excuse me. We have the market wanting to look at NZD. NZD has been dropping significantly more. There we go. All right, you got NZD over here already chilling in the zone, and then you have Australian that's kind of getting here. So of all of these opportunities, definitely leaning more towards kind of just waiting out for Euro or for GU to get to this zone of interest. That to me makes the absolute most sense. So I'm not necessarily in a rush to trade anything related to the dollar quite yet. It doesn't look to be in any quality zones. So your boy here is definitely chilling. Now, okay, we can take a look at gold. I know there's a lot of gold traders in here. Big focus on gold. Now, as we look at gold, what has been the current revelations here? What are we seeing? What new setups? How are things looking here? And as I see gold, the big thing was this huge move to the upside that ends up just kind of luring in buyers, takes out sellers, lures these guys in, and then finally drops. So us getting to these levels here is starting to make me think like should or could we see sells in this zone? And I mean, it looks like there's a pretty good chance. So we see the momentum pick up right around here. What I need to see now, though, and this is very important, what I need to see now is can we confirm bearish structure? Because right now, like, yes, we drop, but what's the point of this drop? Did it drop to make lower lows, or did it just drop to clear out liquidity? Because we just clear tons of buyers. You have Asian session lows that get wiped out. We see yesterday's New York session lows get wiped out. London session, Asian session, just going back to Tuesday's New York session. So what is the intention behind all of this type of movement? So I need that confirmation right now. As much as I would love to just say, oh yeah, cool, let's sell up here. Considering we've been bullish, I'm not so much in a rush per se for to force it. And even if you look at silver worked its way down and then immediately came back up. So maybe we work our way down again. All right, maybe we see the market get to areas over here, and then it can kind of confirm that demand, and we might be golden. So right now, not necessarily in a rush. Just kind of let's let the market give us the information that we need, and then from there we can be golden. So you can see indices are starting to show a lot of movement again. So here you guys are starting to see quite a bit of demand spiking up and down, back and forth and back and forth. So I think we might be seeing I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see yet here. Either it drops or it comes up higher. We shall see, my friends. We shall see. I think the difference here in price is that Dow keeps going higher and Nas kind of keeps fighting for its life. It's kind of like, it kind of seems like Nas wants to drop. And then if I think maybe Dow just gives this push down, that's what's going to maybe let NASDAQ do its thing. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in the market, right? Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and trade. It's just observation, right? This is just critical to awareness. And that in itself just kind of allows you to perceive the market better, to help you understand, okay, what should I be waiting for? So a lot of times when you're seeing the market print, you're just kind of understanding, okay, what lures in buys, what lures in sells, what has more or less, momentum in the market. Should I adapt to that or not? And I think those things become a lot more useful than just wanting to take advantage of every little tick, every little point that comes into the market. So yeah, let's just see what's happening here. I think the fact that Dow is making higher highs on the smaller time frames and Nasdaq is not is probably a sign that Nasdaq's going to drop. So if people ended up shorting here just because of price action, I kind of get it. And more power to you. The big squeeze going down right now. A breakout here in some direction is definitely imminent. Look at that. Starting to see Dow work its way a little bit lower. Now Dow is pushing, and Nasdaq is still chilling. I wonder if we see another sweep, if Nasdaq just clears all this and then makes its move. Let's see. Look at that. All right, Dow kind of making some decisions. Pushing down. Okay. I wonder if this move down is going to clear the last like 30 minutes or so worth of price action, getting below like this open with Dow. So either way, we're kind of starting to see a shift in momentum. Despite Dow going down, Nasdaq kind of doesn't really feel like doing that. Interesting. Yeah, I think we're going to clear. I think this is Dow's run below these lows. I wonder if that takes us down. Let's see. We might see that the final push, and that might be just a temporary move. Because now, if you look at the shift in momentum, let's say we go 5 minute here. Okay. So we end up getting the sell out of this position here. And then now we're seeing Nasdaq be a lot more stubborn. So take a look at this. All right, now you're seeing Nasdaq just holding this down. It's fighting for its life, despite Dow pushing below. So I think we're gonna get this here soon. So yeah, look at that. Look at how momentum has shifted. Meanwhile, silver now worked its way down. So with silver or gold, the one thing I'm curious about is this going to end up becoming a buy scenario for metals? Like, are we going to see the metals basically drop in order to set up for buys? Because if you go to, let's say, like something like this, you see gold here move, take a push to the downside, and then obviously, like, it just doesn't stay down here, comes back up, the market trades over here. So I'm curious if this is going to end up being a shakeout setup for metals, whether it's going to be gold or whether it's going to be silver. All right, so check this out, guys. At the moment, what we're seeing, Dow pulling back up, kind of rebalancing in this zone. So here is just, and here's how we're just kind of studying price action here. That not necessarily has to be, active trading or anything like that. But as we saw Dow make that push to the upside, where are we going to get NAS to move? Is NAS going to just clear the highs then drop? Is Dow going to then drop from here? So do we clear out this inner liquidity and then make the move down? Because this right here is kind of asking for a drop at some point. It doesn't have to be right now for Dow. But like these lows, see how now we're seeing lower highs on Dow, while NASDAQ is still giving us higher highs at the moment. So this could be just a breach of liquidity, and then we see Dow make its move to the downside. So right now, if you look at Dow, right, Dow looks like it's got that potential. Not that I would short it, but we're just seeing a difference in price action. So it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you got to go and sell the position now. All I'm saying is that we have interesting price action. And sells, like, I understand why the market would want to short from here. So, yeah. Okay. So, as we're seeing this momentum shift with NAS, one thing that is cool to see is this now has confirmed, or it's starting to give us the higher highs. So, either this move is just to clear liquidity and then it maybe crashes down, or this move is beyond that. And this is going to then confirm bullish structure, give us the higher highs, just maintain these, and then we can look for the buys a little bit later down the road. So kind of one or two ideas are definitely possible here. And all we got to do is wait. So we saw Dow kind of poke above here briefly. Cool. We see NASDAQ cleared this liquidity. So right now we're seeing, okay, what was the intention? NASDAQ sweeps highs. So lures in buyers, clears out sellers. That's what we know right now. This right here was that, it looks like this was the exchange from sellers to buyers. Not as aggressive as I would have imagined. I thought we would have maybe seen this happen. I guess it did shoot up pretty quick. It just chopped up for a minute. So we did definitely see, here's where the sell-off begins. And then here's where it reacts. There's definitely imbalance in liquidity. So we might just be seeing the market short and want to target this. However, if I was going to sell anything here, it does look like a short on Dow kind of makes more sense just based off of how price action is setting up. So if and when I say short, I like this again, I'm not saying you have to sell anything. I'm just saying price action seems like if it were to drop, Dow would be the one to lose momentum because of how we're seeing that divergence. NASDAQ is still trading even above the previous highs that we saw within the last hour, whereas NASDAQ here or Dow Jones is trading below. So we're already kind of seeing a difference in price action. So you can take a look at that right there. The volume definitely has teetered though. So volume is settled here. So we'll kind of see. We'll see how this evolves. I wonder if this is just going to end up creating demand at these highs and we just kind of keep ranging in here, or if this is just basically luring in another batch of buyers before we see the drop. And right now, all we're doing is waiting. Meanwhile, what we do have over here, and I want to go back to silver and to gold. So right now, as we're seeing silver and gold kind of drop back into these levels, silver rebalanced, playing out of this zone. 618 pullback. Gold. All right, so Nas right now ripping. Absolutely ripping. Hold on. There's a lot going on, right? Dow chilling over here. NASDAQ on a mission. Just cleared these highs. Check this out. So just cleared the liquidity over here. So rating those highs. Look at this. Dow still just chilling like a villain. Chilling like a villain. So the chances that Dow might want to short sometime soon is holding up pretty well. So either it's going to come and clear this liquidity too, or it might just push. We might push above all of this. Then maybe later it drops. But the fact that it's still holding down here is a sign that Dow might be definitely the one to short at some point in time. And it's also at the moment, if we continue to trade up there, NASDAQ is looking to be a buyer at some point, with retracements, of course, happening first. So for now, chill. All right, so looking at gold pulling back all the way down to that 786, whereas we saw silver kind of slower in that drop back to this level. So, what decisions can be made at this moment in time? the question we have to basically establish is the move down to here, did this confirm lower lows? Or when we see the market come back up, come back down, is this enough to now say, okay, yep, yeah, no, this is it. It's good. It's just reconfirming bearish structure, or this is just luring in another batch of sellers so that the market makes its move. This is where you can add, if anything has the best shot of making this work, it is going to be silver, since it's pulling back with less intensity. All right. So let's see here. Now, this is a different type of entry model than what a lot of you are used to. The bigger thing that you can always consider too is using volume. But if you don't feel comfortable with these type of entries, then don't take them. You know, it's I guess really that simple. Yeah, we're getting confirmations. Indices just absolutely, NASDAQ, no chill. Zoom out a little bit. It's playing into these highs. So at this point, you're seeing significant motion. Lots of movement up here. I wonder if this is going to be enough to slow it down, and if so, how much? Whereas Dow refuses to really meet the same level. You look at this, yeah, I mean, we're seeing NASDAQ all the way back to price action from, that New York session, end of New York session, complete recalibration. And then Dow is barely starting to crack above some of these London session highs. So I think it's just about to get up here. And that might be clearing London session highs. If you're in buys here, let's just say you took a buy somewhere in here, exiting at these highs is probably a good spot. So let's say you just happen to have a trade somewhere over here for whatever reason. Taking exits, at these highs for London, always good levels for profit. Same thing if you took a NASDAQ buy. I think exiting here where you see a little bit of this resistance, a little bit of traffic, if you will, also good areas to take some exits as well. And as we're talking about with silver, it looks like silver is starting to get some momentum out of this imbalance. And then, see, this is why we avoided gold. Gold was dropping faster. So silver ends up kind of holding up here. Looks like it wants to take a move from the zone. So silver buys might be a nice little play there. All right, let me know. Let me know if you're planning on taking silver trade here, or if you're already in this one. Curious to see what the game plan is from you guys. Indices here. Now we've been sitting above this high, so NASDAQ right now has been trading basically for about 15 minutes above these highs. So looking like we're going to see demand for a bullish demand, bullish structure, unless we get some insane, just massive sell-off. This is kind of just proving more and more that the market wants to, keep trading up here. So, meanwhile, Dow about ready to clear these highs. Let's see if we get this liquidity sweep right here. could be this right there. Right over here. So might see that little push. And then the drop. All right. Not my favorite setup. That's cool. Dow created more equal highs. Yep. Where would that mitigation zone on NAS start if it confirms structure? I mean, we start to see everything sell off from over here. Pull up again, drop another round. For all we know, it might transition anyways. We could eventually see this become a higher high, and then Dow Jones drops faster. So, I mean, things can always change. But I would be looking for plays in this imbalance for NASDAQ if we confirm this. However, sometimes what ends up happening is we think we're getting a setup, and then it just doesn't confirm. So if this, for example, let's say this just melts. Right, this just loses all momentum, and it melts down. So, for example, like right here, we see, you know what? Nope, Dow just wanted to get into this little imbalance, and then it wasn't enough, and it just sells off. Let's just say that happens. And then that also causes NAS to drop. So then if this massively drops here, would this confirm a higher high? Not really. It would just prove to us that this was kind of like artificial movement and that there just really wasn't enough. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm just giving you guys an example because it can happen, and we've seen things like that happen. Asian lows in yesterday's New York lows that swept and delivered H 4-hour imbalance. Yes, sir. Daily open got respected to liquidity sweep in 15 minutes, 30 seconds. Yo, Mike, had my best Dow US 30 trade yesterday. I took the sell off the higher zone hit at 1-9. Nice. Yeah, that was my trade. I took that same trade. Had a massive sell yesterday. Caught those beautiful sells last night, 1-7 overnight. Ooh. Let's go. Y'all talking spicy in the chat. So Dolce. Nice. Looks like y'all are killing it in here. All right, so Dow finally clearing those highs. There we go. What's up, South Carolina? In these buys. That boy is ripping. Kevo been one with the market for sure. Yeah, we were talking about whether we were going to look to take the buys on NAS or Dow. Dow was kind of slower on the move, so was waiting to see if Dow would give us a setup, but I didn't want to. Keeping the higher time frame in mind, I guess I could see why NAS ends up being the one. Also caught the NAS buy after that huge sell-off. Nice. All right now, man. I mean, right now it looks like we're kind of getting more and more confirmation for. And let me go to one screen. I guess we don't really need two screens anymore. There's no like sense of urgency or anything like that. 10% day all around. Sick. Hey, Brandon, if you want to drop that in the free community, it is definitely. We definitely want to see those wins in there, man. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about those shorts from yesterday, because these were epic. So we had two setups yesterday. All right, we had two setups yesterday. The first one was here, and the second one was much bigger. So the first one we played out of this zone. So let me walk you guys through how this one, what we were looking at here. And this one, you guys can go back to the stream yesterday if you want to study how the setup was playing out. So we had two movements yesterday that were interesting. And they were the following. We had the move here. So we had massive buy that, bless you, cleared out liquidity, right? Cleared out all of that. we saw the market come back up, and we see this little move right there. So if you go on yesterday's stream, you can definitely see this loud and clear. Hey, don't be nervous to post in there. Everyone's cool in there. So we see, right, the market just rip up here before it just melts away. So here's what we were waiting for. Another short was in here. And then there were two things happening. So we said, okay. And there was a, divergence with NASDAQ and all that good stuff. But specifically, the market was dropping. It was building up liquidity. So we said, okay, it could either play out of this order block or it's going to come up here in short. So I took a small setup here. We saw the market then drop down to equal lows. Cool. So we got back to these lows. Nice. Right. This hits 2-3R. Fantastic. From here, the market keeps chilling. Does its thing. And we still see more and more divergence. So here you see the buildup of liquidity. So you start seeing the market just squeeze for a little bit. Okay. All right. So now at this point, we're still haven't quite gotten to this area. We're seeing a lot of liquidity play out. While this is happening, NASDAQ is still making higher highs and it's just going crazy, doing crazy things. So Dow is basically it almost feels like it's being suppressed. Dow is just still in the range while NASDAQ is just making higher highs and higher highs and higher highs. And Dow is just refusing to go higher. And as I've always said, right, the more we squeeze, the more explosive the moment's going to be. So we see more of this, okay? You guys are kind of noticing something here. You're seeing just sideways movement, build up tons and tons and tons of movement. So the market then poked up to here. Right here, we get the snipe. Right, this is like basically like 30-point stop. And then now, when we zoom out a little bit over here, a little zoom out. From here, from here. So this is the first one, the second one. From here, it was game over. Because at that point, NASDAQ had spiked up and on a higher time frame had gotten its job done. And then, remember, we talked about how on Dow, we had all of this liquidity and all of this imbalance. And then this is why we were able to target all of this, because all of New York session and London session, basically, it's squeezed. We had like a 6-7 hour squeeze, and that led to this movement. So a 30-point stop, give or take, leads to, a 500-point drop. Now, I didn't take it that far. I collected about, I hit a 10R, and I was like, all right, I'm good on that. So that's how yesterday's setup ends up playing out. Now, getting back to the present, we are starting to see that the intention behind the move that we're seeing right now, Dow swept the highs, as I just mentioned, Asian London session highs, and now it's ready to come back down. Said, hey guys, okay, I'm tired. Time to go back to bed. And that 10R, no, it's not casual, for sure. This is it. A lot of things were in play that gave me the green light to hold a position like that. That's definitely not always the case. And I do want that to be very much clear, right? That it's not always going to be like that, by no means. When the market gives the setups like that, then of course, like, I'll take them, but it's not a standard for me to go, I'm going for a 10R every trade. Definitely not. I think that's we see a lot of that kind of, I'd say, definitely I'd call it bullshit. Like people talking about, oh yeah, I took this trade 10R, but it's like, no, you didn't. You took a 0.01 of that trade. You took the smallest contract possible, maybe to exit, or like the majority of you probably closed at a 1R, 2R. So don't let the paper profits, guys. The analysis 10Rs are not the same as the actual trading 10 hours. So be diligent with that. And then also, you don't need massive trades to make it work, right? You can be profitable if you're very disciplined and you're taking the 1.5s, the 2Rs, etc. Okay, so now we saw the liquidity get swept here from London session, Asian session. I mentioned how there could be shorting opportunities above this liquidity. My question, and I know I was explaining a lot of things, so I'm curious if you guys took that or not. Silver is up. If you snipe silver, I would say move your stop to entry. With Dow here now doing its business, dropping. I like it. I think if we get some pullbacks back up into here, another short looks better nice. So here is and here we can go. I'll show you guys kind of what we're starting to see here. So like I was showing you earlier, Dow's price action was pretty suppressed relative to Nasdaq's. So right now we kind of saw it sweep the liquidity, instantly start to work its way down. I think that either or, whether it's Nas, whether it's Dow, Nasdaq came all the way back to yesterday's even New York sessions, some of New York sessions price action, and then decided to drop. So right now we might see a little push up here and then another continuation. All right. But either way, out of these zones, I think we can see a pretty nice move. So keeping it nice and steady. There we go. There she goes. All right. Market's starting to do its thing. Let's see it. Let's see today. All right. So, yeah, I think we're in a place where if we do get a little pump into here, I'm definitely down to see if we can short from there. So look at that. I think literally just this poking up into this zone could see a nice little move. And either or, it could be whether it's Nas or we're talking Dow. But since the higher time frames on let's see, look at this, guys. Let's compare this. Look at Nas and look at Dow here. Nas cleared the highs, obviously. All London and Asian, and then got to these New York levels just above the high right there. Whereas Dow, not nearly as bullish during today's price action. What's Bitcoin doing right now? Has it been ripping with when indices were ripping? Let's see. No, not really. Okay, chilling at 111. Can't be mad about it. Can't be mad about Bitcoin chilling here. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? What's everyone's thoughts on crypto right now? Are you sidelined? Are you in there? Are you FOMOing now? Are you altcoining? GG's got trailed out in profits for 2R NQ. Done for the day. Well done, good sir. Well done. Discipline. I have that US 30 sell marked up just now. I didn't end up taking it because of the fear of yesterday. I lost 5 times in a row chasing my trades. They weren't horrible setups that I was taking back to back. They weren't horrible setups. What does that mean? Like they were still bad, but just not atrocious. You know? Like you look at them and you're like, it's like a sixer. Like I shouldn't, but maybe if I was drunk, is that what you're saying? I need clarity here. You really, guys, you want to qualify. You want quality of your opportunities. So, you can't just be throwing your money at just average. Nah, you got to keep it good. Got to keep it quality. Consistently over leveraging till the end of cycle. That sounds like a great plan. I hope that goes well for you. Every setup looks like a 10 when you're drunk. Bro, crazy. Chat is wilding right now. Just don't look at it in the morning, I guess. Oh my God. I'll send you a picture of the trades later. Yeah, drop it in the syndicate. Drop it in the syndicate. I'll see what caused I guess over trading, and then we need to qualify those trades though. Can't just be setting them up like that. So also another thing too that I wanted to bring up was you said you were fearful today. So if you have let's say your green light for your entry confirmation, so if I get this because I have this, and this, then you should just be able to go and deliver. So remember, today's trade has nothing to do with yesterday's. Even if you sucked yesterday, even if you made the worst decisions and you were just an absolute degen, if you've already understood why you made terrible decisions in your life, then you can't allow the emotions from the day before, your actions from the day before. Like, think about it like this. If you've reset your identity today, then give yourself permission to trade today. Because otherwise, if I didn't if I didn't give myself the opportunity to do anything today because I did something dumb yesterday, I would never do anything. I do dumb things all the time. So not so much with trading, but there's a lot of other things, And so we just kind of have to give ourselves permission to trade if emotions have been reset. So your job is to regulate your emotions so that they can be reset. That is absolutely non-negotiable. So when you do it that way, then you're in the clear. All right. So hopefully that makes sense and that can help you moving forward. Okay. All right. We're seeing the melt. Anyone catching these shorts at the moment? You been buying any crypto? Yeah. Like I've been saying. Still been buying. I'm buying every day. Every single day I buy crypto. It's just automated. Every single day. It's just scooping up more and more. Yeah, that's kind of my approach. But I have kind of different plans for different assets. So, for example, with Bitcoin, I've been buying every single day for a while. And then I might teeter off. Like, I might buy less. Because I think Bitcoin in, 10, 20 years, that's kind of my, I see it being around for, I'm thinking kind of decades with Bitcoin. So, yeah. And then, but with altcoins, I've been going heavier for sure. So, for example, what I want to see right now, one of the things that I'm really interested in, right now. Also, just to give you guys a quick perspective on this right here. So right now we just saw, we're seeing indices start to drop again. So definitely, if you took shorts, move your entry into profit. Yeah, Dow's starting to really make its move. Nice. Let's see if Nas is going to follow too. I think we got a little more imbalance that this can get to. Oh, sick. I just passed another challenge. Word. All right. So what can we see and understand from the motive? So let's recap today's session so far. Let's get understanding. Chainlink is which is your heaviest altcoin hold? So my biggest holds right now, my favorite hold is Dog. That's my favorite hold. It's my most, I wouldn't say it's the most degen hold either. Because at this point, it is a riskier, sure, it's a meme coin, but it's a legendary meme coin. It's Bitcoin's meme coin. And you know what, guys? You know what's the most loyal? It's a dog. It's a dog. So anyways, I can go on my whole shilling dog rampage, but I just want you to go into that. I want you to fall in love with that because it's amazing. But I have virtual. So virtual on my AI side, I'm stacking up a lot. I do have Chainlink as well. And then I have a lot of Sol. I have Jupiter. I have IMX. I have Fetch. Once they combined, the three AIs combined. So the Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance. It sounds so mental. I do have some SNS, some FIDA. So got me some of this. I have picked up a bit here recently, like last month or so, but transparently, I think I'm dollar cost averaged right now around like 15 because I was definitely picking some up at 20. But I did TP at 40 here. So I've been picking this up for a minute. So once we were spiking here, I took some profits and then I took out my initial. And then so technically I guess I'm up. But then out of what I left, I've been dollar cost averaging in a little bit here and there, but not too much here. I like Chainlink a lot. I think in terms of like conservative plays that have high reward potential. Soul Chat. I mean, I got like a small amount of Soul Chat at whenever that was happening. Was it Soul Chat? Soul Chat is like the FaceTime for wallets, right? For like phantom wallets and stuff. Yeah. I mean, think about this, guys. Is Bitcoin going anywhere? Nah. It's not. So if Bitcoin's not going anywhere, and so why would its leading meme go anywhere? I feel like Dog is like, if you wanted to have a meme coin, it's like the most conservative meme to have. Maybe like on par with Doge, and it hasn't even been picked up by a centralized exchange yet. So it's just still really damn early. Kraken's about to list them, but yeah, that's why I'm in there. Uniswap, I had Uniswap a cycle or two back. I didn't pick up anymore. XRP, yeah, I have some XRP. I have XRP. So for me, it's a matter of distribution. So like what percentage of my portfolio I have of things. Some are much bigger than that. Waiting on that crack. You're waiting for it to be listed to buy it? Explain. New thoughts on Bonk. I think Bonk's gonna do well. I think right now, like for example, Look at this, man. Yeah, Dow melting through. Sick. Ocean Protocol. Yeah, so Ocean, Fetch, and what was the other one? I forgot. There's three. Three different AI coins merged to become one. And they became like the artificial superintelligence alliance. It sounds so funny. You buy dog daily? Yeah, I mean basically. At this point, I'm addicted. Nancy would probably be pissed at how much we buy dog. Or happy. Well, based on where prices are right now, I know she's stoked. And I think we still get an easy 10x from where we're at. But yeah, so Chainlink looks good, man. Chainlink looks solid. I think intraday exits, like let's say you wanted to just be extremely, extremely conservative, you'd be looking at, somewhere in like 23, 24. Like let's say you wanted to just literally take some out to pay for your rent type of situation. But long term, I think alts overall have a long way to go. You and XRP, Mike? Yeah, I think I answered that, I'm pretty sure. Now, when it gets listed, volatility will hit. So yeah, I understand the narrative of like, oh, it gets listed, you get volatility, sell the news, blah blah blah. I think that's a possibility. But I'm okay with still being in now again because of the market timing. So for example, wait, did they list this already? No way. Perpetual, multi-collateral perpetuals. Interesting. That's interesting. All right. Anyways, so take a look at this. When you're seeing something like this is just what happened last time though, and it's squeezing like crazy right now. But I just want to give you perspective on how price has been before. So there's a couple options. Either these 45, 46 levels hold like it has in the past here. We've seen the market kind of reject these levels before, totally. Or it doesn't do that at all, and it just goes and doubles. So it's kind of like either you get marginal difference in a pullback. Let's say you get a 10% discount, maybe more, or it just doesn't do any of that. Now, also, my thought process is this is going to look hilarious later because I think this is going to basically look like this later. So I think we end up kind of just being a thing of the past, and this becomes a very small difference. So this is because of my macro perspective. Not that it's going to take that long. I don't think it'll even be anywhere near taking this long. But yeah, so I guess it almost like kind of doesn't really matter to me. And that's just because of how we compare things. So for example, and this now has become a dog shill session. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. All right. By no means feel like you need to do this, and definitely don't do anything where you just you just use money you don't have to do something like this, especially with a coin that I would say is on the high risk category, but I'd say it's on an extreme reward category. So here's some of the reasons why I think this is just an interesting play. So I guess we're going to do this since we have questions about it. Ocean. I think there was an Ocean coin that did go insolvent. I don't know which one. But I don't. It was an Ocean Protocol. Yo, hey, appreciate you guys for liking this today, and also for everyone subscribed, and for those of you that are joining the free community that's linked to the top. Much love to all of you guys. But yeah, I don't know how you like. Just don't. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. With crypto at the moment, guys, don't FUD it. Like, if you've already been ignoring it, and you feel like, oh, am I late to this? Yes and no, but don't force it by trying to make up for it. You know what I mean? Karen trying to get me to sell the house to buy some dog. Karen, you degen. So don't make impulsive decisions. Don't go into like high interest debt to make up for lost time or whatever. So here's some comparison. Bitcoin and ETH. Okay, what's the difference in market cap? Substantial. Right? Let's say this is about Bitcoin's roughly 8 times bigger. 7 to 8 times bigger than ETH. Great. Understood. That's market cap. Remember that for a reason. Now, when we look at things like, and I'm going to go back and take a look at setups on indices here in a little bit, but while we give these indices some time to kind of establish themselves and everything like that, we'll get, I think, different types of opportunities here. So Nas may be giving us bullish setup still, maybe later on, if this doesn't crash soon. And then Dow still might end up creating a selling setup later. So we will wait. But now, in regards to this, I want you guys to look at something here. So take a look at this. And then again, I'm going to keep saying this, but I would consider this being in the high risk category in crypto, just because it's a high volatile category. Once memes break a certain threshold, they're here to stay. But this is definitely like at a different category than most things. Like, these are just experimental. These are just a whole different wave. So as of right now, right, the Bitcoin meme is ranked like 16th here. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll say ETH's meme, which I would consider it being Pepe, is sitting at number 3. This is sitting at 6 billion market cap. So it is currently about 13, 14 times bigger than Dog. Okay? So my mind is, wait a minute. You have Bitcoin that's 7 times bigger than ETH. Meanwhile, its meme is 13 times smaller than ETH. There's a massive gap in this. Of course, Pepe's been around for longer. And also, Dog is still not accessible on tier 1 exchanges. Like, just an easy exchange. You can just swap it, whatever. So there's a massive, massive difference. And there's 2 reasons why I think it's going to go crazy. One, when Bitcoin goes up, this goes up. And then when meme coins go up, this also goes up. So it's kind of got the best of both worlds. Also, think about the Bitcoin players. Bitcoin players usually are, 1, there's just more capital. 2, they're not necessarily a swapping all day. That's more SOL, like where you're just moving in and out. You're kind of almost trading. So it doesn't seem like this would be something where, there we go, now we broke these lows, so clear this liquidity here. It doesn't seem to me like that Dog would be something that, it could just be like almost the store of value, but of memes. So for all those reasons, on top of just the way the tokenomics are, there is no VCs. It's just a fair airdrop. That's all that happened. And then from there, that's it. So, and they're not paying to be listed at all. They don't pay to get on to exchanges. They're not forcing their way through. They're getting picked up because of demand. So I feel like it's just a really fair way to approach it. So that's my thesis for why I am locked in here, and I've been in here for the last like 6 months or so. Because you guys asked. Is Tradetopia going to launch a coin? No. I'm not here to rug pull people like other, you know? Yeah. That's not what we're here to do. Like, guys, don't let people use you as liquidity, please. Like, I already told you guys, I'm very much here to ride this wave for a while. So I want you to think about this. If Dog just caught up to where Pepe is now, and I want you to think about that. Right now, Pepe is still nowhere near its all-time high. So take a look at this. Thank you, Mike, for another day of knowledge. Appreciate you. Thank you for the love, man. So look at the market cap on Pepe at its all-time high. It cleared 10 billion. 10 billion. Right now it's sitting at like 6. So peep this. Oh, I got like a weird kink in my neck right here. So even if it just caught up to where it's at now, we're seeing like a 14x. And when these things get crazy, they get crazy. And as this climbs, its status of like, oh, this is like a go-to meme. This is a safer meme. Also goes up. But anyways, that's the meme side. Obviously, the more degenerate side of the crypto game, which in itself is just, we're in just waters of speculation and attention. That's what this is. Where is attention going to go? It's psychology more than anything. But yeah. That's how we're seeing things. So one thing that I'm noticing here is we just saw a nice little sweep of the getting below New York Open here with Dow. So we didn't quite stay here. So even now, I'm curious if this just starts ripping, then I don't think getting into shorts makes sense anymore, because now we just got below the New York Open. So when people start buying, a standard approach is put your stops below the open. So kind of rated those, and now it's moving along. And if we look at NQ over here, NQ is worked its way back into this imbalance over here. The New York Open was over here, so let's take a deeper look at that. We had this move. Huge sell right there. Way over here. From here, see a massive push. So right there, after the pump and then the drop with New York Open, the market squeezes, gets into imbalance. Simultaneously, we see the sweep of liquidity. Market's pushing. Market's pushing over here. So these are kind of timing in at the same time. These are in synchronicity right now. So is buying up here and then having a 90-point stop something I'm interested in? Definitely not. So yeah, I'm just not here to force anything. So I'm chilling. We'll see. We'll see how everything kind of sets up over time. I think the market getting back to this and playing right out of the open, this just looks like mitigation to me. So taking a trade over here, considering the liquidity, seems also a little bit riskier. So I kind of want to just see what the market ends up, what this ends up doing. I'm really curious, because remember how I mentioned maybe like 20 minutes ago, and I was like, well, guys, sometimes the market, and I think if you're still here and you were here earlier, I was like, hey guys, like, well, sometimes, you just see it fly and then it just dies because it just shows us the true intention of price. That's exactly what happened. So when we see as quick as it goes up, it goes down, then we're not fully committed to this. Like, this isn't actually in demand. The motive behind a move like this was more, in my opinion, for what it looks like right now, it was more so, hey, let's keep liquidating positions, because now let's go to just a one chart setup here. It looks like we're in this kind of 4-hour distribution play now. It looks like we can, because the question was, is this going to be a reaccumulation? And if you're looking only at candlesticks, and this is why I think candlestick patterns alone are very deceptive. I don't think it shows the full, because when you see a wick like this and then the close right there, this is screaming at a lot of people that this is a reversal candle. On its own, I think it's worthless. I think you need context. And so, because that's just like, oh, the market just happened to close in these moments. But if we end up, like we saw here, where we don't really end up seeing price maintain any highs here, it ends up actually just liquidating London and Asian session, and then drops. Unless we come back up again, then it's a different story. But if it stays like this or goes lower, there's no reason to force buys into this setup, especially considering that there's more imbalance down here too. There's this massive gap from, I think it was like May 11th. Yeah, from the weekend open. So the market could easily want to go into this area. That's why you just let the market tell you, what do you want? What are you really doing here? Once you have enough clarity, once you have enough confirmation, then you make your decisions. Here with NASDAQ, what did it do? Okay. Is NASDAQ currently distributing? Is it reaccumulating? What is it? What do you want? Right? What are you here to do? So right now, it's testing both sides of the spectrum aggressively. This right now is like signature luring in of buyers and sellers at the extremes. The peak over here lured in buyers, took out sellers, done for. Cleared out buyers, lured in sellers. Oh, it's going to keep running. It's going to keep going down. Done for. Comes right screaming back up. So the fact that Dow didn't give us, at least as of right now, it didn't really confirm these highs. It's kind of giving me this, I'm leaning towards the fact that this is going to keep dropping. Same thing here with NAS. As much as we got this massive 4-hour candle in the wick, and it looks like, oh, okay, is it going to be a reaccumulation? It just came back down so fast. So the timing of it, sure. The timing of this was very bullish. It closes over here. Great. But the difference in the reality is it's I'm not convinced. So you just got to let it ferment. Mike reading the tea leaves. Yes, the coffee leaves. Mike, I dropped the potential buy setup with Mexican peso in Tradetopia. All right, let's take a look at it. And then, for AI coins, I think my top pick is Virtual. Well, I know that's my top pick. Virtuals, AI agents. All right, let's see here. Before I do that, let me check I know we got the private community in here. Got the gang. Let's see here. And, shout out to everyone else that got some wins yesterday. Seen a lot of testimonials rolling through, especially with the way those shorts went through. Y'all really did some work in there. All right, so Seth, let me know in the chat, and Michael, if these are still right now valid, or if you guys are talking about kind of the opening, pre-opening. I think I already saw these. These were the open of the setups. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, and it was just that I wasn't convinced on the demand down here. That's why I didn't take these. But did you guys end up taking profit though? Because I think it did reject pretty decent. So I wonder if those played out for you guys. Okay, cool. From earlier, it's just you two, man. Where's the rest of the syndicate? What's going on, guys? What are y'all doing? All right. Oh, we got 20 requests during the session. Guys, the link to join the free community is at the top. So just click that button so that you can join. If you're weird, I will kick you. If you start doing spammy, if you start DMing people to try to sell your, whatever, like, it's not going to work out for you. Always ready. Let's see. Mexican USD. All right. So you flipped it as if it's futures. Little sweep. I'm looking at this one more. Did you play this? That's nasty if you did. So if you're trading CFDs, you should usually see it as USD Mexican peso. If you're trading futures, then you will see it as like Mexican, like peso futures. And I think you're looking for a new setup. So sweep here. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Okay, so looks like right now it's fighting for if it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So means you don't have to be involved. Okay, so let's look at futures here. What time we got? It's been almost 2 hours. Oh my god, dude. I can yap. That's wild. That was fast. He said, "Nah, I wish I played that." Did you just see it after the fact, or what was the decision making here? Okay, sweep, move. This is the futures side. So it kind of, I don't really see the setup really too much here. So there's nothing for me to really play on there. But if this keeps going, I do see a potential play here. So we see that push down and then the rally. So if we keep trading higher, then I could see a reversal out of this. But we would need to see the market, trade higher here, give us that 15-minute higher high, or even go above here and then come back. But something like that, then I could see the buy in something like this. So yeah, your setup looks good. I'd say just wait to get that demand and then you're golden. I just started analyzing Mexican peso chart today. Oh, okay. So if you're trading CFDs, it should show up as USD Mexican peso. If you're trading futures, then it'll be 6M. You know what I didn't check up on was silver. Looks like GG's here. Metals. How's it going, y'all? Yeah, wait for that. Perfect. Okay. Nice. Let's see who else got any setups for me to look at. First post. Let's see. You guys had my best singular trading day yesterday. Closed out 2 trades for under 10%. Took the US 30 snipe down and then the NAS buy back up. Let's go. Here's the NAS buy. Took a little play there. What? And then the short. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that. Sheesh. Caught that for a nice, cool, and almost like 450 points. Savage. All right, you gotta just categorize this as a win. Boom. You guys are killing it. All right, let me see if there's any other posts here. I think Vaughn said you were gonna share with what's it called? Oil swing, right? Here we go. How do you know all the futures names, and how do I learn? Just research, curiosity, clicking buttons, seeing names show up, and then just looking at them every day. I'll start to remember them. You could use AI. It's a nice liquidity sweep here. Yeah, so that cracks that trend line up to there. Starts working its way down. So if you don't get, so this is something for that at least that I do. So you know how we have a higher high, higher low, and then this wicks above. So it's a failed, right? A failed confirmation of demand. So now you start to see, okay, this isn't a higher high. If this were to break the low and give us demand, then I would like the short to continue. If it doesn't, because right now you got the shift in, you got like a 1 hour break of structure. So you got the higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. If it doesn't, then I still like the short. I like selling up here, but I would have my exit a little bit tighter. I wouldn't take it as far since we didn't get the 4 hour shift in momentum. We just got a 1 hour shift in momentum. So I would be okay with just kind of like taking it within that 1 hour range, and you still get probably a pretty good risk reward. That's just so you can tweak your exit a little bit. It could still not that it couldn't happen, but if you only get the 1 hour break of structure and you don't get the 4 hour, then your exit, you have a high probability exit within the range instead of breaking out of the range again. Yeah. Yeah, but good looks. I mean, the setup looks good. All right, morning, guys. Yo, love the post in here. Love the thoughtfulness. Some of you guys have really been, you said thoughts on ES. Took last week's Tuesday's low, looking for it to go lower to that inverted mitigation to go higher. Okay, let's see. I think we're going to be on our way to this here if indices are, and they're still moving down. So it looks like that could be the case. Got another sweep below. Yeah, I'm being really diligent with buys just because of how this didn't really hold up very well. So, obviously, like we did see a big sell-off here and we have some imbalance and we have tons of reversal points right there. So this rejecting here, totally see the possibility. What's having me lean more towards the fact that we're going to still work our way lower is just because the Dow already shows that it kind of failed at doing so, despite NASDAQ taking the highs and making the move. So right now we are seeing the mitigation of that sell-off, that right after New York opened, sold off. So, I drew out that zone for you guys. However, because we saw such a quick up and down, that to me drops a lot of the probability, since it shows that we don't really have the most demand up there. So even though right now we're getting a good mitigation, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stay up here. So, that's just that's how I look for setups. So right now, I'll keep giving it time. And we'll see how everything unfolds. Can you tell me how to identify areas of interest for entering a trade? I mean, go watch the Smart Money playbook that's in here. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, if you click the classroom section here, this is in the free one, not in the annual program one, which we'll be announcing soon. We'll be sharing details soon. But go through here, and as you go through this, you'll see like step by step, basically how to figure things out, especially the technical analysis ones. So go through this one. The videos here will pop up. It just takes a couple seconds, and then you'll have them direct through here. And then if you need more hands-on work and you really understand the expectations of trading, then you can go ahead and schedule to see if you qualify to join the wait list. Okay. But other than that, take advantage of as much, free information that there is. I genuinely believe that you guys can figure it out. If you do want that deep work, hands-on, then yeah, cool. We're here. But yeah, that kind of leaves us at that. So let's see what this market has in store for us. Let's see. Maybe that's all it was. The market just wanted to come back, and it's going to keep pushing. And the reaccumulation is still a green light. So I'm in between whether this is a reaccumulation or it's going to be just to continue to distribute for indices. And I don't have to be in a trade today again in order to make the most out of this. So I already took my exit on the short, and we just now wait and find out. Cool. Good stuff, guys. We talked about quite a bit today. Had a nice little 2-hour sesh. Plug in there, and we'll see you guys again here tomorrow to wrap up the week. So I'll be live here. I'll set it up. Thank you all that, hit the like, subscribed, join the community. And if you made anything today, let us know. We like to see your testimonials. So take care, guys. Till